You got that camera rolling there? Good, good. Well, I'm Tommy Wilson. My son is Tommy Jr. Sorry, I know that's not important. Well, it is, but I'll just keep talking. So Dennis was a prick. I don't cover, see? Dennis did. Not that we should speak ill of the dead, just a fact. Well, Dennis would always keep rotten eggs in his car, and he would belt me with them when I left for school. Ooh, that heated my buns. I told my dad, and you know what he said? Ex-cop my dad was. Well, he said I should slash the tires. Now, I'm a good choir boy here. I didn't even listen to AC/DC. Still don't. Devil's music, that is. Now, that jerk tosses eggs at my good sweaters, calling me a bitch. Till one day, gosh golly, I took my dad's old hunting knife, my last good sweater, and a Gatorade. Long walk after all. Slash that bitch's tires right back. All four, you hear? Car looked like my old dog after a long day eating the cat's poop. The next day, I saw the fella had 2 black eyes. Oh! Lord could have taken me right there. His old man gave him good ones, see? Back then, our school was a little more blind on seeing the sluggers in the crowds. Well, anyway, he never messed with me again till I started dating his old girlfriend. Married her too, funny enough. Well, it was senior year, and me and the old lady-to-be were dancing to some pop about hot ladies and such. Well, in between, in some good dancing if I do say so myself, I heard him run up and kick me right in the tackle box. Oh, gosh, that didn't feel too good. My pa took me to the hospital and found out I lost my right boy. Up and died on me after that kick. Oh my golly, couldn't tell you how much this old boy wept when he found out he wouldn't have himself a kiddo of his own. My lady cried harder. I tell you, would have kicked his tush if he stayed in town. Guess his dad there kicked him out of the homestead. Moved in with some fella that smoked that pot. Well, it ended there for me with old Dennis. That is, till they found him hanging in that motel. God rest his soul. I won't lie now and say I didn't feel bad at first. Course, good Lord and me had a talking. Love your enemy and such. So now me and the lady pray for his mom every night. Well, I won't take too much of your time. Old lady wants to watch that Big Bang Theory. I wasn't going to watch it on account on the whole Big Bang in the name there. But that Sheldon is funny enough the Lord can forgive a name or two. Have a good night now, fellas.
I was always in contact with Dennis. He would come over to my house when he was kicked out of his. His father tended to have fits, and well, it was the least we could have done for him. And that grew to him working with me on the house in his teens. He wouldn't talk much about his life even then. You could see it in his eyes though. He always looked so scared, so tired. He always insisted on working instead of accepting a handout. When he was finally kicked out of town, we begged him to come live with us, go to college, and get a life for himself. He refused though, and went off to some unknown future. We only really started talking again when he found my Facebook. He started coming over at first as a ploy to celebrate his father and make up for the years. We spent hours talking about the wonderful things his father did. He would lie about his dad, saying that he really did cherish him. He would have thought he had the best father in the world. It ended up becoming a regular event of him coming over. Not that I minded, he never really had much of a father in his life, so I was glad he was willing to talk with me. He still held a strong stance of never revealing too much. He had a special way of avoiding talking about himself. My wife and I would be so amazed at the special attention he paid to our stories. He would really dig into them and find the tragedy and the humor in it. He would only start talking a lot later at night, after a couple drinks of course. On that back porch, he would tell me everything. Sometimes He wouldn't stop talking till 3 in the morning. It wasn't whining. It was a deep, deep confusion at life. He didn't know how to handle his father. Just working as much and as hard as he could. He acted like he was constantly being haunted by his father. I don't think there was anything we could have done for him. The boy made a choice, a hard choice. Some days I wish I could talk with him one last time. Not to ask him why he did it, but just how he felt in those last days. If Macy is watching, I am a phone call away. Anytime, Macy.
Hi, my name is Talia. I'm 29, and Dennis was my friend. Sorry, it's my first time in front of the camera. Well, I met Dennis when I worked at Walk-In Mart, a small place where all the night job people hung around. Most of them never talked to me. Not that I minded. High school was hard enough. My parents made me do all AP classes, so I spent most of my time studying when I was at work. There was never anything to do besides giving the construction workers raps. I was so glad Dennis could save me from that boredom. Now, at first I thought he was trying to get my number like some of the creeps there, but instead, he was more interested in my life. He would ask these really deep questions about myself in a weird detached sense, like he was a therapist. I never told him, but that was the best part of my day. My parents were divorcing, and having someone care about my thoughts on it was nice to have. We ended up talking twice, sometimes 3 times a day, depending on how much beer he bought. I found out later that he would purposely only get a 6-pack, so he had an excuse to talk to me some more. I guess I was his only friend outside of the warehouse he worked at. He would just drink and never go. Not that I would know. From the outside, he seemed a lot more happy and social. Just a high-functioning alcoholic like the rest of my customers. The last time we talked was my last day at the Walk-In Mart. My friend just found me a better job working at some local chicken place. I told him, and he bought me some peach rings to celebrate. I thought about getting his number to keep in contact, but it just felt weird. So I just disappeared from his life after that. Our last conversation was about nothing at all. Just peach rings and my future. Some days I think about talking to his mom. She sent me an email inviting me to the funeral. I guess somehow she found my information on one of those sketchy info sites. It's hard to know that he cared so much about me. He mentioned me to his mom. I wish I knew. I really do.
Dennis? Yeah, I knew Dennis. He was my friend. He was a good one, too. Hard worker. He'd be here early in the morning and wouldn't leave till the job was done. Knew it, too. The boss would try to pull some BS and he would tell him no. If that boy left, the place would collapse in a week. A real pillar of strength for all of us. He would host these big parties when the Eagles would play. He would make his own food, good stuff, too. Always an amazing chili or potato bowl. The guys would call him Den Mother for the amount of homemade food he made. Of course, everyone went to his parties, even the ones who didn't like football. He was a fun guy. Besides the food, he wouldn't say much about himself, but he would make sure he knew everything about you. He'd joke, but there was a real care in what he asked. He felt like a good teacher or even a good parent if you never had one. Yeah, we had some good times. He ended up going to culinary school, so I saw a lot less of him. The fun parties died down a bit, but I figured it was school more than anything else. I'm not sure if he was depressed or if he had some demons, but he fooled me. Just last week, I stopped by and he was telling me that he was going to France to meet some famous chef. Ashamed to lose him.